Last time on Curse of Isaac, it's just going to change to like whoever the current person you're talking to is every time.
Curse of Blinsky.
It was Curse of Gadolf last time. This time it's Curse of Ismark. I don't know. Whoever.
I like how the common denominator is curse, and none of us are a cleric or a paladin.
No.
Well,
Nope, you cannot lift the curse. You guys did a few things. You firstly helped Adrian and Elvir deliver a shipment of wine to the Blue Water Inn. You brought that to Erwin. Erwin rewarded you handsomely. And you guys actually sat down to chat with Gadolf, who eagerly awaited your arrival and screamed to Ramis as soon as you walked in. After that, you guys sat down, chatted with Gadolf, asked him some questions. Gadolf started to draw a figurine of Ramis, which he plans on making a new toy using the drawing. You ran into a few people. Ismark came down the stairs and came and chatted to you guys for a bit. And you also had a man named Isaac enter into the Blue Water Inn. He's got a pretty fiendish looking right arm. It's got barbed spines on it and really long fingers with long nails. It's definitely creepy looking. And he came into the bar. He did not look particularly keen on being chatty or nice or any of those things. He looked pretty mad. He went to the bar, got a glass of wine, and the last thing that happened was he set his eyes on Gadolf and started to make his way over to your table. You guys narrowly avoided a run-in with Irina and Isaac, who you know. Isaac has been requesting Gadolf to make dolls that look like Irina. So you don't really know what the relationship is there or what his intention is there, but you did avoid that confrontation for the moment, at least. So we start with being in the bar, being in the tavern. You're sitting at the table. Isaac begins to head towards Gadolf in your direction. And as he walks towards you, you hear the loud clinking noise of a huge set of iron keys that you see attached to his belt. And Isaac narrows in on Gadolf, and he stands at the table looking down and says to Gadolf, I am awaiting my next commission. Bring it to me tomorrow at the Festival of the Blazing Sun. And he like almost turns to walk away. And Gadolf retorts, yeah, I've been busy making festival decorations, as the burgomaster has requested. He says, I will have your doll ready in a few days. And Isaac turns around and is noticeably displeased. And as he turns back around, he notices what Gadolf is drawing and looks towards Ramis and looks at the rest of the group. He scans over Kane and Ismark, and then his eyes travel to Zug. And he looks at Zug.
Totally glaring, by the way.
Noticing that Zug is clearly the leader of the party, Isaac says to Zug, I saw you leaving the burgomaster's home the other day. And he says, what business have you in Valaki?
My business is my own. Ugly man arm.
Oh, shit.
oh no.
Ramis looks on at the wall in his heroic pose, ignoring the conversation.
And Isaac upon hearing what he takes as an immense insult, leans forward and his arm begins to faintly glow. And he says, all travelers through Valaki are my business.
Perhaps if that were true, your burgomaster may have informed you.
Kane.
Uh-oh.
He says, I know that you are here. I do not know why.
Again, perhaps your burgomaster may have informed you. He is the one who summoned us and had us return for the festival.
And Isaac narrows his eyes and turns to Cain. And he says, well then, I'll be seeing you at the festival tomorrow then.
I suppose you will.
And his eyes are flickering.
Well, like moving back and forth, or are they
Like-
literally on fire?
His eyes are moving back and forth and like gleaming almost in a way that he is having like a physical effect of his a physical manifestation of his anger and frustration.
You appear quite upset at the moment, sir. May I ask what's wrong?
Isaac says, I do not care to speak further. And he downs his wine, his half glass, puts it on your table, turns around and starts to walk towards the door.
Have a nice evening.
And he does not reply to that. And he walks out the front door.
As he's walking away, I'm just going to join in the laughter.
Well, Zug, you almost got yourself into a bit of a kerfuffle there, didn't you?
I can handle myself.
Of that I have no doubt.
I'm trying so hard not to kill you guys.
Isaac would just kill us in the middle of the town. Like, is this town lawless? Like, there are guards everywhere, right?
The guards are all under Isaac's control.
We're
Not
the
burgomaster.
burgomaster's guest. We have free lodging, and we're in that lodging.
You're not
back
in the
in our home.
Burgomaster's lodging. The Blue Water Inn
Yeah,
and
we're in
the
a bar, dude.
Burgomaster are not related. Yeah. But the Burgomaster has requested that you be his guests at the Festival of the Blazing
We
Sun.
can't make it to the festival if we're dead. The
Um,
burgomaster would be displeased.
Yeah. So, like Danny, like I love that you are shit talking Isaac, but I'm also terrified. Okay.
Is he's this kind of character who would actually kill someone for like that little?
I mean,
Like, it's-
you don't know Isaac.
Can
know,
I?
but, like,
can-
but I guess like killing someone for making fun of them.
Can I roll a sense motive to try to get an idea for what I gathered from him in those that 30-second spout of time he was in front of us?
Yeah. You can try to gather whatever you want, like sense motive-ish of like what he's like.
That'd be like insight. Yeah, I feel like
Sure
there's
it is.
something.
Insight, yeah.
If he's that willing to murder people, I feel like there's definitely something more going on with him.
Yeah, he's just walked into a bar up to people who are basically strangers, and said he nearly killed us. What the hell? What a dick!
He didn't nearly kill you, but you antagonizing him for sure is.
Did you want me to roll insight?
Yeah, let's do an insight check.
Well, it was me more than Nate. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Nate
yeah, yeah.
was-
Zug antagonizing him.
25.
Okay. So you can tell, Kane can tell. Actually, can you roll a let's do a is there like Arcana, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arcana.
Okay, Arcana. Here we go. 25.
Okay, that's pretty high. So with an Arcana check of a 25, by looking at the arm, you can tell that there is something extremely magical about his right arm.
Was it because it was glowing?
It was
Did
for
I-
sure glowing. But yes, that arm is for sure magical. And
It's quite rare for people to have humans, because he was human, right?
he is a human, yes. Humanoid, really, but I guess you could call him a human.
Like he wasn't a werewolf dude.
No.
He wasn't covered in fur or something.
No, he's a human for sure. From everything that you can tell, he seems like a human. Yeah, and so that arm, there are magical properties about his arm. Based off of what you could see, smell, and hear,
Smell.
Isaac, what Isaac smelled much more of wine than the amount of wine that he drank.
He's made of wine.
He's
He's in league. He's in cahoots with the druids.
yeah, he's got his own store of wine.
He's got a gem. Oh, he like jammed a gem into his arm.
Isaac
He's got a barrel of wine in his
drunk.
arm. Is that what you said?
He's a drunk.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Isaac is also extremely large, like almost as big as Zug.
Oh.
And Zug's pretty big because Zug is a half orc.
Am I?
How big are you, Zug?
I thought I was only like 6 foot.
I thought you were 7 feet.
Oh, really?
Ooh,
I might
let's
be bigger
look.
than Zug.
I thought
Let's
Zug was
look.
7 foot.
I am 7 foot.
Oh, fuck you. I know your
359.
character better than you.
I was gonna say, I wanted to
349
start-
pounds.
349 pounds.
Apparently, I'm very large.
You're humongous.
Yeah, that's why Isaac saw you and assumed you were like,
But why
You're
can't I
giant.
break a simple door?
well, your strength kind of sucks. Your stats suck, even though you're
You
huge.
don't know how to use the strength, Zug.
Ugh.
So Isaac is really big. He's like 6'9". He's very, very tall and quite large and quite muscular.
Well, I'm glad I was sitting when I saw him.
He's a pretty big dude. So he seems like the kind of guy who maybe has gotten by on sheer aggression and strength based off of his communication skills, which aren't particularly fantastic. Yeah. And gosh, there's something I really want to tell you guys, but there's no way you would know it. So that's it.
Great.
Yeah.
Enticing.
Enticing. Yeah. Dangling that.
There's
carrot.
important information, but
Ah, you also know that he collects dolls, but supposedly.
Just like one doll in particular, right?
Well,
Or did
there are multiple dolls. He just collects he collects multiple dolls. You don't know, but like Isaac has given him many dolls and they all look like Irina. But Isaac supposedly has collected like more than 20 dolls from Gadolf. Yeah. So that's about it. Based off of like the eyes flickering a lot, there seems to be something that is like haunting Isaac. There's something definitely there.
moon eyes?
It's like a similar flicker that actually happens to Sindra sometimes, of like someone who's a little bit haunted. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah. And as Isaac leaves, Gadolf puts down his charcoal pencil and he looks towards Zug. He's like, his face is aghast with like what you just did. He's just like in complete disbelief and shock. And Gadolf says, please, new friends, please be careful. Isaac is a very dangerous man.
More dangerous than Zug? And I'll give a little flexing.
And Gadolf sort of eyes you and he says, Zog does not seem capable of the heinous acts that Isaac might be.
Well, if he's as ugly as he is tough, maybe I will.
Try withholding wine from him and see what he's capable of.
He does smell good.
Oh, and love was born.
And Gadolf. Oh, hey, Cosmo. And
Nebs.
oh, sorry, Nebs. Sorry, yes, that is Nebs.
Wow.
Hey, Nebs. Oh, I haven't seen Cosmo for a while.
Cosmo doesn't come on camera. He just sleeps on the couch.
Oh, that's very,
Ditches me. Nebs is the only one who cares.
that's
Aw,
very
Nebs.
ace. By the way, I'm going to point out, look who's being sweet and cute and adorable for once in her life.
Oh,
Ah,
Cheddar.
what a gem.
Is that because she's exhausted from a day of murder?
Yeah. So Gadolf actually lowers his voice and he says, there are rumors that Isaac's arm was bit off by a wolf. And one day it grew back the way it is now. He says, I do not know what Isaac is fully capable of, but Isaac controls much of the city guard. I do not want new friends to be outcast from town. And then he like picks up his pencil and like looks back down and starts drawing again.
What else can you tell us about him?
Gadolf says, Isaac and I don't talk very much, mostly threats. And he says, but the town has said, I've heard rumors in the town that Isaac used to murder all of the kids who picked on him, and then the burgomaster kind of adopted him and absolved him.
So he is the burgomaster's adopted son?
Not exactly. The burgomaster has a son and does not treat Isaac the same, but he took him in, and Isaac lives with the burgomaster now, and the burgomaster treats Isaac well and lets Isaac have his domain. And Isaac is very loyal to the burgomaster. So as long as you stay on the good side of the burgomaster, you'll probably be okay. It's the only reason I am still okay. Burgomaster asks me to make decorations for all the festivals. Some of the only work that I receive these days.
Ah, well, you are quite good at it, Gadolf. About this festival, he seemed almost intrigued that we had been invited to it. Should we be wary of anything upcoming as part of this festival?
Gedolf replies, all are required to attend the festival.
Well, yes, we have been made painfully aware of this. But what can we expect to occur during this festival? What are the main activities or forms of entertainment?
Isaac says, or
Isaac.
Gadolf says,
He's back.
Gadolf says, Gadolf like kind of smiles and leans in, and Gadolf says, I have made some very exciting decorations for the festival. He says, I've created several small suns that will explode and spark at the festival. And he says, most likely there will be lots of people with lots of sadness at the festival. But I think that the festival will hopefully lift some spirits of some of the folks. There should not be anything too out of the ordinary. Normal, punishments, normal arrestings.
For what?
This sounds less and less like festival.
This sounds rather dour.
Gadolf says, the only punishments and arrestings come to those who mock the festival or disagree.
Sounds like it could be dangerous if we're not careful. Is that what you're trying to tell us, Gadolf?
Gadolf is for sure nudging you to. Gadolf says, I believe it is in best interest to comply and go along.
Any advice as to how we might be able to keep a low profile during this festival?
And Gadolf like turns at Zug and he says, just normal things, no shouting obscenities or fighting or
Threatening large,
copious amounts
dangerous men.
of drinking. He says, you guys will be okay. Just don't try to provoke.
Maybe I'll just stay in bed.
Gadolf says, yeah, it is not advisable. So Gadolf will continue to sketch away into the evening. And as you guys continue to be merry, drink, two patrons that you have seen before enter the bar. These are two young ruffians. You've seen them come into the bar the last time that you were here. They make their way in. They make absolutely no attempt at being polite, quiet, reserved. They are rowdy. They're making a lot of noise. And they walk in, two young, handsome men, and they walk up to the bar and request some wine. They also reek of alcohol. Everyone here reeks of alcohol, supposedly. Where are they getting it all? And upon being served half glasses of wine by Erwin, you can hear them chatting for just a moment, and suddenly one of the men screams loudly, declaring, "What the hell is this?" and smashes it down onto the ground. And the ceramic breaks. And Erwin yells back at him and he says, "Get out of here." He says, "You're drunk, you're done, get out of here." And the man angrily stands up from his seat and walks out the front door. The other man sits and quietly finishes his drink and then follows suit and follows the first man out the door. And as the second man exits the door, a familiar face comes into the bar. It is the half-elf Rictavio. And he walks up to, he notices you guys sitting down and he waves at Gadolf. And Gadolf excitedly waves back at Rictavio. They apparently have some kind of relationship. And Rictavio goes up to the bar and sits down quietly. And approximately 10 minutes go by. And Erwin comes out from the kitchen with a bag filled with a couple lumps and a plate filled with a wolf steak dinner that Rictavio proceeds to pick up and quietly carry out of the bar.
A bag of lumps and wolf steak?
Mm-hmm.
Typical.
Okay. Lots of events happening in the bar tonight. So the last thing that happens, that actively happens in the bar this evening, does anyone who is downstairs, which is everyone except for Syndra, have a passive perception of 14 or higher?
Me.
You do?
No, I don't.
I know you don't, Doug. Do you? Okay, so just Kane then. So Kane notices sitting at the opposite end of the bar. This entire time, there has been a man wearing a hood, and he's been sitting there for quite some time now. And every once in a while, he peers over in your direction and then immediately goes back to what he was doing. And this is not the first time that you've actually noticed someone that has sort of been
Paying an oddly close amount of attention to us.
Yes. You've seen when you were in the town before you left for the Wizard of Wine, you saw a similar hooded figure kind of peering at you before you entered into the toy shop, but it didn't really irk you then. But now that you're seeing it a second time, you are for sure noticing it.
Syndra's out of eye contact.
I'm not even down there, but it
Okay.
sounds like the hooded figure with the crossbow that we found on the road.
Yeah,
That guy wasn't hooded, the crossbow
Okay.
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
But he was definitely like.
I'm gonna like wave the waiter over as though we want to order something else.
Okay.
So we know the wait staff here at this point, right? Because we basically
Yeah,
lived
it's so
in the tavern.
Danica, who's Erwin's wife, is basically the waitress and the bar
Mhm.
maid. So Danica notices you and comes over and asks, "Can I get you something?"
Lovely evening, Danica. Thank you. I have a question. Without looking, could you tell me who the mysterious hooded figure in the corner over there is?
And Danica kind of moves her eyes a little bit without moving her head to see who you're talking about. And she says, "Yes, I believe that's Ernst Larnack."
Ernst Larnack?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite the name, isn't it?
Yeah, Ernst.
Okay.
Do you happen to know much about this individual? He seems to have taken a bit of a interest in us.
She says, "No, I don't know much, but I do know that he works uh, with powerful people in this town. I do not know whom specifically, but he does the bidding of some of the higher ranking members of the council in the town."
Thank you, Danica.
Here. And Kane slides over a coin or whatever it costs for a drink here, and he says,
Why don't you bring 2 wines over to that table in a few moments for me?
She nods understandingly.
Kane's going to get up and walk over there once Danica leaves.
Mhm.
And before he leaves, though, I'm going to look over at Ramis and Zug and say,
Do keep an eye on me if you could. I'm going to try to see who this gentleman is.
Mhm. Okay.
Go ahead and nod. And take a sip.
So you walk over, and as he notices you walking over, he actually kind of takes down his hood and nods towards you and remains in place.
Ernst, I presume.
He says, "Yes." He says, Did did Danica tell you my name?"
You have me at a disadvantage. Yes, she did. I happened to notice you were taking a bit of an interest in our group. Figured I'd come over and introduce myself.
Ernst nods and he says, "Yes, I keep a watchful eye on all strangers that arrive."
That's fair. There are quite a few characters that we have run into in our travels.
He nods.
So, what do you do in this town?
He replies, "I work for," and he kind of stops what he's saying. And he says, "I'm a procurer of information."
That's fair. You do not need to tell me who may be your employer, if you have one. I'm more interested in why you do what you do.
He basically says, "Well, I need to make a living like the rest of us."
Fair. Eh, But you must have some other motivation than money, surely.
He says, "I do have some interest in the general direction of Valaki. This town has been my home for a long time, and I care for it."
That is good. That is more than perhaps you could say of everyone who lives here.
He nods in agreement, and he puts his hand down on the table and leans in, and he says, Whom do which you speak?
Well, we have run into quite the sketchy character. He was in here a few moments ago. Does not seem like the kind of gentleman we would want taking care of folks in this town.
And Ernst lets loose the tinge of a smile, and he says, Isaac has long threatened the villagers of Valaki. He says, the Baron has let his dog loose.
Yes, yes. I don't get the impression that the Baron much cares for what Isaac does. Let me ask you something. If you agree that Isaac is trouble, does whoever you work for agree with that?
Ernst. Oh, I forgot my dice. Do you have them? I can roll.
Just use the website.
Yeah.
Works really well.
Okay. How do I roll on the website? I've never done it.
What are you
On
trying
the
to
bottom left corner, you click the D20 in the red circle, and then just click the number of dice you want to roll of whatever type, and then hit roll.
I see. I
You can
don't.
right click to lower the number of dice and left click to increase the number of dice.
Yeah, I don't have that ability on your character pages the way that you guys do.
You could just do Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google Roll20. That's gonna lead me to Roll20's website.
Mm.
D20.
Search like dice. Yeah.
There you go.
You want me to just roll a D20 for you?
No, I got it. Why did it roll 2?
So
Did you put
you can click one of them and it'll remove it.
Nope.
No, like click one of the dice or click.
Oh, fancy. Okay, great. Oh my god. Okay.
Who were you rolling for?
Ernst.
Okay.
Ernst was rolling to check Kane's intention and sincerity, and Ernst rolled a 20. So he
Kane's
feels,
not exactly being surreptitious.
he feels you. So Ernst nods, and Ernst says, my employer absolutely believes that the burgomaster needs to be revealed for who he really is, and that this town would be much better off without him in charge.
Interesting. And who would be in charge instead?
Ernst replies, well, there are a number of people who could fit the bill.
Do you believe that they would be good for the town?
Ernst nods and says, absolutely. We would bring forth an era of prosperity, and we would stop all of this madness, all of the despair, all of the anger that has taken over this town.
Kane pulls out one of the Strahd bucks and holds up the coin, and he sets it down on the table, Strahd face up, slides it over.
And what do you feel of this person?
And Ernst takes in a deep breath. And Ernst replies, I personally do not have strong feelings one way or the other. It is not my reckoning.
You care for the town, and yet you don't have strong feelings for the tyrant which truly rules over it.
The Ernst replies, the tyrant who rules over the town is indeed the burgomaster. The burgomaster has set his sights on antagonizing Strahd, and that may not be the best strategy for the town's prosperity.
I agree. Antagonizing Strahd is a tricky prospect. We have reason to believe that he is significantly stronger than anything we have come up against thus far.
And Ernst slides the coin back over to you, and he asks, "And what do you know of Strahd?"
I'm afraid we know much less than we would like to know. He seems to almost toy with us or even everyone who lives here. But we have only heard stories at this point.
And Ernst nods and he says, "Perhaps my employer would be willing to educate you further."
Well, I suppose a meeting could be of interest to us, but I would need to know more about this person, and we would need to meet in a safe place.
Ernst nods and replies, "I will discuss what has transpired here with my employer, and I will find you again when I have a reply."
Did the wine ever make it to the table, or is Danica just back there dicking around?
Danica's totally dicking around. She's ignoring you entirely. Yes, the wine for sure made it to the table. Probably pretty early on in the conversation, the wine made it to the table. And
Right.
yeah, Ernst nods and thanks you for the offering.
Kane looks down at the coin again, Strahd face up, and he taps it a couple times and then gets up without picking up and walks away. And he says,
We look forward to hearing from you. You can let the tavern keeps know if you would like to be in contact with us. Have a nice evening, Ernst.
Yeah, and under his breath as you leave, he says, "That won't be necessary."
I go back to the table.
He will find you when he wants to.
I go back to the table.
Okay.
Interesting fellow, that guy. Ramis, were you able to hear anything of our conversation?
No, I was lost in my imagination.
Still posing.
I have been
Ramis, are you sleeping in your stew there?
standing still for what feels like days.
Oh,
You've done it, Blinsky.
All this commotion, Zug is gonna like jerk awake and be like, "What? I'm not asleep." Zug ever alert.
And
This-
Gadolf draws some quick flicks on his charcoal canvas and puts his pencil down and picks it up and looks at it, looks at Ramis, looks back at it, puts it down and picks the pencil up again and just keeps going.
It is hard to capture beauty succinctly. I'm not sure.
A few more minutes go by, and Gadolf finally finishes with his masterpiece, and he shows it to you, and it's actually pretty fucking good.
Wow, Gadolf, that is quite the impressive piece of work there.
Gadolf replies, "I am a wizard of tiny wonders."
I think Ramis will stand next to Gadolf to appreciate the portrait. Slap him on the back. Well done, my friend. And give him whatever his rate he claimed for his dolls was, but
9 silver.
9 silver.
Gadolf says, "No, I should pay you."
Let us see how this investment works out first.
So you are asking him to actually create this toy for you.
Hmm.
Okay.
To be sold.
Oh yes, okay. But you don't want it. You want him to
No,
sell it.
other
right?
people will want it,
Oh,
obviously.
Okay. Obviously. According to you.
Yeah. And he said he thought about my property. He said it was good business. So.
He liked your idea. Yeah, he did. All right. So Gedolf is going to pack up his little satchel, and he's going to bid you all adieu for the night because he is very tired. And Gedolf says, "Thank you, friends. I hope to see you all tomorrow, calmly, at the Festival of the Blazing Sun. I have a few surprises."
We
Okay.
look forward to those surprises. Get off.
Giddily walks away.
Careful now.
Yeah. Don't find yourself alone in any alleyways with a one-arm mangled man.
And Gedolf waves and exits the Blue Water Inn. Would you guys like to do anything else for the evening?
So, who was this Ernst character?
Well, I can tell you what I gathered. He seems to be a man of coin, a spy for hire, if you will. Works for somebody who I was unable to determine, though he did insinuate that he is not happy with the burgomaster and believes he should be overthrown by someone or something. He also seemed to believe that Strahd is not such a bad guy after all. At least he had no strong opinions. He then offered to set up a meeting with his employer, who seemed to believe this whoever this person is could re-educate us. This was after the conversation I had about Strahd. So whoever it is probably either close to Strahd or is perfectly happy with his tyrannical behavior here.
Hmm. The only tyrannical thing here is this festival we have to go to.
Yes, I agree. However, I am concerned that if we do not go, the wrath of the burgomaster could be much worse than the festival itself.
Hmm. You hear that, Zug? No oversleeping.
I suggest we prepare, keep a low profile as best as we can, though be prepared for the burgomaster to throw a spotlight on us. From what Gedolf said, this is unlikely to be a very joyous festival.
Hmm.
Zug will groan. Ah.
Yeah.
Zug, what are you trying to say? Use your
Oh my god.
Zug just being difficult. Zug just doesn't want to go.
Zug.
But Zug is a trooper.
There you go, Zug. You never know. There may be wine there.
Oh, true.
Not even wine.
All right. So let's go ahead and sleep it off.
Go to bed, adventurers.
Yeah, there I'm gonna just straight up tell you no more events are going to happen tonight. So if you guys would like to continue talking amongst yourselves, you may. If you want to catch up with Irina, you can do that. Or you can head to bed if you'd like to.
Let's go upstairs and at least like speak with Sindra and Irina and make sure everyone's on the same page.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you guys head upstairs to the shared bedroom.
We're gonna say that Kane quickly fills Syndra in on and perhaps Irina, because I'm sure she's there too, on the situation downstairs with the brief stint involving our friend Isaac and the little conversation that was had with Ernst
Okay.
and what we
And
learned.
Irina nods and looks horrified. And she asks, this is going to sound strange, but can you describe what this man looked like outside of the arm? She asks you to describe Isaac.
Ugly face too.
Isaac is actually not.
Can I create an illusion that looks like him? Just like just a static image that looks exactly like him with my
Can
cantrip?
your spell do that? Can it create like likeness of a person?
I'm sure that there's here, hold on, I'll just read it for you. Sorry, someone's trying to call me right now and I don't know who. Here we go. Minor illusion says you create sound or image of an object within range that lasts for the duration. The illusion also ends if you dismiss the actor or cast a spell again. I can also cast, if that's not quite enough for you, silent image, which I create an image of an object, creature, or some other visible phenomenon that is no larger than a 15-foot cube. So that seems like the go-to. I'll cast that. I'll use silent image to do it. That way it's legit.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll take that. And as you cast that, take a little hologram. Irina observes it, and she stirs a little and squints at it, and she says, I have dreamed of this man before.
Dreamed.
She nods. And she says, he has entered my dreams several times. I recognize his face and his arm. She said, I do not know what it means.
When
Does
dream.
Yeah. There
What?
you go.
When these dreams start of ugly man.
He's not ugly.
Zug thinks so.
Everything is ugly.
Like he's
for Zug.
conventionally kind of handsome.
Zug is not conventional.
Rugged. He's not ugly. He's not like good looking, but he's not ugly. And he looks angry, which maybe can be classified as ugly. And Irina says, I have had a recent dream and also one long ago. She's had several dreams of Isaac, and they've happened at various times in her life.
Do you remember any specific interactions you may have had?
She shakes her head. She says, no.
So, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. She says no. She doesn't say anything important after that. There's just fluff
So,
text.
The guy, so Kane knows that this guy has some kind of magical situation going on with his arm. So can I roll Arcana or something to see if I might understand if there is a connection between her dreams and Isaac and what that might be?
Yeah. I don't know if this specific situation is something that like magical knowledge would be able to tell you, but I'll let you roll to try.
Well, I only rolled a 13, so
Yeah, that's gonna give you nothing.
I have no idea how this may have happened.
Oh, oh, yeah. She says, in the dreams that I have had, he has been crying.
That seems rather out of character for him based on our interactions.
Hmm. And she says, I do not know what it means either, but I will attempt to avoid him for now.
I would suggest that that is a good course of action. Now, we must have some idea as to how to keep you safe during this festival tomorrow.
She goes into the dresser and pulls out a koi that's like a head wrapping. And she says, it may be best if Ismark and I do not travel with you, but travel independently.
Perhaps. Yes, well, I have no doubt that we may encounter more attention than you would want to have garnered upon you.
She smiles and nods. And she says, I suppose I'll take my rest now and we'll figure out how to handle this in the morning.
Sounds like a good plan, Irina. Rest well. We will see you tomorrow.
And you're in her room, so
We leave.
yeah, you leave.
He just lays down on the floor. Good night.
Sleep well. God. Yeah. All right. So, you guys ready to go to bed? Sleep for you. Yeah. Okay. You sleep. You wake up. Everything's the same, and you get a double knock at your door, which is an indication that breakfast is ready. Yeah. Next day, what do you guys want to do? Anything in the morning? Anything that you want to go see or do, or anyone you want to talk to? You guys get to do it.
When is the festival?
The festival is going to take place in the afternoon, around probably the flyers. The
of
flyers
today.
will say 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a sense of how much of this town we've seen? Like, is it massive?
It's not massive, but you've mostly traveled the main road and haven't, besides the burgomaster's mansion, you haven't really traveled a lot of other places. The toy shop and the Blue Water Inn are really on the main Spallick Road, so you haven't really explored any of the other locations. You guys are welcome to head over to the town square, which is where the Festival of Blazing Sun will be taking place later. Maybe see what's going on there. Yeah, but you guys are welcome to like explore the town some more further if you'd like to.
Yeah, we could take a walk around town.
Yeah. Do we want to explore the site? What was it? You said the center square town?
Square, yeah.
Should we scope out the town square, see if there's a good vantage point? We
Look
could
for sniper
maybe
spots for
make
cinder.
a good escape if need be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can head to town square if you'd like to.
Okay.
All right. So you guys like to do that this morning? Head out to the town square?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm done.
Okay, so you
Ramesh
guys
would like to hum and idly strum his travel.
okay. The town square is not too far from where you guys are actually at. It's like a quarter of a mile, if that. It's pretty close. So you guys head out, and the town square is to the southeast of where you guys are at. You guys are almost like smack dab in the center of the town, which is where the Blue Water Inn is. The town square is about southeast of where you guys are at. So you guys venture out and head towards the town square. You pass a few houses along the way. You branch off of the main Spallic Road onto a slightly smaller road. And eventually you come to a four-way intersection of a few different winding roads into the town square. And in the middle of the town square, there is a fountain. And you guys see all of the shops and homes that enclose the town square are all decorated with limp, tattered garlands and some painted wooden boxes that are filled with tiny dead flowers. And at the north end of the square, there's a row of stocks. And locked in that row of stocks are several men, women, and children. And they are all wearing crude plastered donkey heads.
Oh.
Kane, what could anyone have against this burgomaster? Look at these.
And in the center of the square, there are peasants in patchwork clothes that I view suspiciously as they use cups and vases to draw water from the crumbling stone fountain. And standing tall at the center of the fountain is a gray statue of an impressive man facing west.
Can I history check that impressive man?
Yes.
Maybe I can't. Never mind.
Aw. Yeah, with or without your check, my answer is the same, which is that you don't know who that is.
Even if I rolled a nat 20?
Even if you rolled a nat 20, yeah.
That is a man.
There's no way that you could know who that is. That is a man.
I'm
Yeah.
very perceptive.
You do not know who that is. You know it's not Strahd. Doesn't look like
So
Strahd.
like I don't have any insight into like what type of person this is.
Yeah, well, based off of the way that the man is dressed, he looks like he is wearing clothing that is a little bit before the time that is now. So he's probably, it's not probably a recent statue. It might be older.
Like centuries?
Century, singular.
And is he dressed as a warrior or like a scholar or like a wizard or?
More like a diplomat.
Boring.
Yeah, it is boring. And all around the square, there are a bunch of proclamations. And the proclamations in the square say, "Come one, come all to the greatest celebration of the year, the Wolf's Head Jamboree. Attendants and children required. Pikes will be provided."
Pikes?
Pikes.
Like the weapon.
Pikes will be provided.
Okay.
All will be well, in all caps with exclamation point. The Baron.
I like pikes. Wear a little badge. I like
you-
pike.
Have heard from Gadolf that the Wolf's Head Jamboree happened last week, which would make these proclamations slightly out of date.
I like Pike. Pike likes me.
Yeah. So would you guys like to keep hanging out?
Aren't we like exploring the town?
You can continue on if you'd like to.
We have no reason to stop. The pikes are no longer valid, but that's an ominous pikey situation there that once occurred recently.
Indeed.
Kind of feel like the men, women, and children wearing donkey heads in the stocks is more of the ominous proclamation, but you know.
That's just fucked up.
Yeah, it's not ominous.
Do a perception check on the people in the stocks. Like, are they frightened? Do they think that this is just regular stuff in the town? Or
Are they alive?
They're alive, and no perception check is needed to see that they are famished. They are wet. They look trapped.
Are there
and they are famished.
other guards around?
Not right now. No, there are no guards.
Okay.
You see, there are 3 men and 2 women and 2 boys who are in the stocks with the donkey heads.
Okay. Ramis is gonna walk up to the 2 boys. And what are they doing as I approach? Are they like intimidated by me, or are they like ignoring me?
They can barely see you, but at this point they are not responding at all. They definitely like look like they've been here for a while, and like don't have that energy to respond very, very aggressively or intensely.
Ramis will look around and try to sleight of hand offer some food forward to the kids.
And the boys see you and notice, and they like grab whatever you offer them and stick their like hands into the blaster, like they try to, and they are able to just barely like feed themselves.
Why are you in here? How long have you been in here?
One of the boys like heads like turns at you and he says, I don't think we're supposed to talk to you.
And Ramis, I don't believe that we should be talking to them.
Very well. Hang in there, boys. All will be well. And he walks away.
Does anybody have the ability to like conjure food or something like that?
No.
Mm-mm.
You're not a mage.
Nah.
You're a wizard,
Oh, wizard Harry.
not a mage.
You're a
No
wizard,
conjuring
Zog.
buns. All right.
Ramis will turn to Kane and say, we must meet with the patron of your friend from last night.
Yes, I suppose that should be on our to-do list quite
And as you guys
urgently.
linger in the square, 4 guards approach the square, and shortly behind the guards is Isaac
Tight.
and the Baroness. And Isaac orders the guards to tear down all of the old proclamations, and 2 of them begin to tear down the old signs, and 2 of them begin to post new ones. And as Isaac notices you, he sees you guys there. He like leans over to the Baroness and says something. And she, upon noticing all of you, especially Sindra, walks up and like yoo-hoos very loudly at Sindra. Hello!
Ah.
And she
Woo!
like nervously like walks up to you and she says, hello. She says, I'm so glad to see you again. Today we will be having a tea and sandwich ceremony at the house before the just looking at your face. We'll be having a tea and sandwich ceremony at the house before the festival. I'd love for you to join
cucumber
us.
sandwiches?
She says, all of my dearest friends will be there.
It just so happens I'm a huge fan of tea and sandwiches. It would be an honor to attend.
Are there cucumber sandwiches?
Does Zug ask that? Is he
Yes, yes.
there? And the Baroness Lydia looks up at you nervously and she says, no.
I'll look down at her. I do love cucumber sandwiches with butter, but not margarine.
Ramis will pull Zug aside and say, "My friend, I do not think gherkins are on the menu today."
And
Oh my
Lydia
God.
looks at Zug and she says, well, I would be happy to have some of our house attendants create some cucumber sandwiches and bring them after to the square for you."
That sounds delightful.
She furrows her brow and nods at you, and she says, "Wonderful," and turns her attention back towards Sindra, and she says, "We'll be having our tea ceremony around 12:30." And
Perfect.
that's about I don't know what time it is. I'm assuming you guys woke up at a reasonable hour, so it's probably around like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning right now.
Cool.
And then she says, "I must be on my way to start the preparations. I look forward to seeing you all later." And she smiles and nods and like nervously walks away.
Wait, that was an invitation to all of us, or something?
No, just Sindra.
Okay.
She was just inviting Sindra. She did not invite the rest of you.
Cool. I'm gonna give her one
Not
of
cool
these
enough.
as she leaves.
I'm the most stately of us. She has no taste.
Fuck this rogue.
No, fuck the sandwich lady.
The Baroness.
Right.
Lord.
And yeah.
I think we need to get Zug a bonnet and some what do they call those,
Yeah,
garters?
that pretty little bonnet.
some lacy
A nice little
Some-
parasol. He can
Yeah,
bark
some
with that.
garters. I'll have you looking pretty in no time, buddy.
I'm already pretty.
It is already pretty. Beautiful just the way you are, Zug. Okay. How would you all like to proceed?
Isaac, what is Isaac doing? He's just ordering people around.
He's totally ordering people around.
Can we
Like
see
dick.
what the new proclamations say?
Absolutely, you can.
Let's look at those creepy things.
Absolutely, you can look at the new proclamation.
Woo! Great.
They look exactly the same as all the other proclamations that are posted around town. They
Are there
say,
pikes?
Okay.
no, that's a new one. So everywhere had what you saw, at least the new proclamations, except for the square, had not been updated. So the proclamation says, "Come one, come all. The greatest celebration of the year. Festival of the blazing sun. Attendants and children required. Rain or shine. All will be well," in all capital letters.
We don't have any children.
Signed, the Baron.
That's it?
Yep.
There's nothing else? No
Nothing
pikes?
about pikes.
No,
Donkey-
no
donkey
pikes.
heads?
This is
No?
All
not-
right. Okay.
This is not the Wolf's Head Jamboree. This is the Festival of the Blazing Sun.
Totally different, guys.
We're not parading wolf's heads on pikes at the Festival of the Blazing Sun. You know what we're doing at the Festival of the Blazing Sun? We're lighting a sun on fire.
That
Ramis
seems
would like to-
redundant.
We're blazing?
Guys. Sorry, what's that?
I want to approach Isaac.
Okay. You approach Isaac, and Isaac.
Good morning, my friend. How it goes?
Isaac's not a man of many words.
I didn't say anything mean to him. I'm just trying.
No, Isaac he just like doesn't really reply. He's like waiting for you to continue. He assumes that you are not just saying good morning to
I
him.
asked him how the festival preparations were going.
Isaac says, "They're fine."
These dogs in the cages, they disgust me. What did they do to deserve to be in them?
Yeah, nice. Isaac says, "These people
Oh, he's gonna be nice. They're human beings.
Yes, humanity. Okay.
Ramis.
He says these townsfolk were arrested for what we like to call malicious unhappiness.
Ramis does not laugh at this.
Hermes just like stands there really seriously and nods.
Yeah. But like smiles too, so he's not being maliciously unhappy.
Yeah. They have spread negative opinions about the upcoming blazing festival of the blazing sun.
False ones, I'm sure. Negative opinions, why would they have those?
Isaac says, I have no idea. The festivals have provided nothing but joy and prosperity to the town.
What are you most looking forward to, Isaac?
Isaac says, well, we have been preparing a giant wooden sun that we are planning to set on fire, and I think that that will be most exciting, he sort of says, like, with an evil, like, grin.
I too am a pyromaniac, my friend. I shall look forward to this very much.
And he says, I'll be lighting it myself.
Oh.
He, like, is starting to become a little friendly with you.
Cool.
Ooh.
Well, I look forward to your ceremony. Do you have such a role in all of the festivals?
He says, I always have a role in the festivals.
You seem to be the pride of the burgomaster.
He scowls and looks down. And he says, I would not refer to myself as such, but we have trust for one another.
Yes. Trust is quite valuable as well.
Ace is being so cute right now. Look at him.
Oh,
I can't see him.
show us.
It's just
He is
like
being pretty cute.
adorably like
Oh,
Sorry.
What a good
got a
boy.
new bed. I
Just
don't recognize
adorably
that.
staring up at me like this. It's really cute.
Oh, big yawn. So sweet.
Him being a good boy.
Oh,
He has no legs. Help!
He's just like adorably like sitting there with
I'm
no legs
Stuck
staring
on
up at
this
me.
comfort train.
It's really
He's
cute.
just loafing around.
Okay, final question. Ramis will say, my friends and I, we have a few hours to kill before the festival begins. What would you recommend doing in Vallaki? We, as you know, are relative newcomers.
Yeah, Isaac. Isaac says, well, there are a few areas that I might recommend. And he like pauses and like thinks about it for a little while. No one has like ever asked Isaac like to like what should they do in Vallaki? Like no one's ever asked him that. So he's like parsing through the things that like he would suggest.
You could murder kids down this alleyway.
He says he says, well,
Yes. Look at this guy.
is he being sweet?
Yeah. Love me. Catch me.
He says the northern lake is quite peaceful.
Northern Lake.
Lake Zarovich.
Yeah, isn't that like out of town? Isn't that like a huge lake?
It's a huge lake north of Vallaki. Yeah. It's a very big lake. I wish I could give you this map.
Give us the map.
I could give you like a zoomed in
Screenshot.
sort of.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, maybe I'll give you a zoomed in version of the map. But yes, Lake Zarovich is Really, really big. Yeah.
So he's suggesting that we could make it there, hang out, and come back.
Well, there's a road, right, that goes north of Valaki that leads to the lake, and it's not very far. It's like less than a mile
Oh, okay.
to get there. You guys actually were in Lake Zarovich, where you got naked.
Well, I get naked all the time.
Before you got to Valaki, there was another sort of outing that leads into it. So the road leads under the lake, and then Valaki is here, and then you can just head up north, not too far, to get back to the lake. It's a big lake.
I'll be right, guys. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Okay. So Isaac suggests looking at the lake. Isaac says, there is also a small, there is west of the town, by only a mile or two, there is a haunted mansion.
Ace is just really sniffing my eyeball.
Good boy, Ace.
Where is there a haunted mansion?
He says west of the town.
Haunted mansion, he says.
Haunted mansion. He says west of the town there is a haunted mansion.
We could probably make it there before the festival, right?
He says, you could probably make it there and back before the festival today, but you would not have very much time to hang out there.
What is there to do at a haunted mansion? That is most curious.
He says, legend has it that a dragon died there long, long ago.
Have you seen its bones? I have
No.
never seen a dragon.
Nor have I. It is just a legend. And you certainly recall that you saw a statue of a dragon on your way to the Wizard of Wines and assume that that is the point at which where the road diverges leads to that mansion he's talking about.
Right.
Of course, Isaac would suggest a haunted mansion.
And it is abandoned. Who used to own this mansion?
He says, I presume the dragon.
Dragon? Oh, sure, okay. I don't know much about dragons. I did not know they were the homemakers. Okay. Well, Isaac, before I depart, do you need any help readying for the festival?
Isaac says, no, we have it under control.
Very well.
And he nods as you depart.
Okay. Do you guys want to go see a haunted mansion?
Hell yeah.
Always.
What was it? The lake? The lake, there was like a legend on the other side of the lake that there was like a mad wizard.
Yeah.
Yes, that Vistana told you that there was a legend that there was
It
a
looked like Cain.
didn't necessarily look like Cain, but reminded her of Cain.
You old wizard humans are all the same.
Yeah, basically. And she said that, that you reminded her of this supposed wizard who lived in the mountains on the far side of that lake.
Didn't
He
someone
was the
also say
one
that the
who-
lake was dangerous or something, or am I just remembering that wrong?
The lake, you have heard that the lake is dangerous.
Okay, good.
The lake,
Crazy.
like the.
I mean, I feel like everything's dangerous here. That could have been a shot in the dark guess, and probably right.
I heard it's cursed.
Is it cursed? Ah, yes, it's cursed.
You have heard that the lake is dangerous because of the threat of Strahd's wolves.
Like, okay.
Oh yeah, we've heard about these wolves. Oh, we should hire those hunter guys.
To
We
fucking
go.
look around the lake.
Yeah, they're wolf hunting brothers or something like that, right?
They're not brothers, but they are friends. Yeah,
Hunter bros.
hunter bros. Yeah.
Yeah, if we decide to go out there, we should definitely take the Hunter Bros with us. One of them, see, the thing is, one of them is going to be able to jump higher, but he's going to have a real hard time keeping traction on that trail.
You cold?
Yes.
I'm wearing a tank top and a mini skirt, and he's cold.
What is your?
I feel
Josh,
you, Ramesh.
Josh will understand you. I will never understand you.
Who understands who?
Josh wishes it to be 85 degrees naturally at all times.
I'm with you, Josh.
I do not. I'm like a 68 to 72.
It's colder than 68 in here for sure.
It's colder than 68. Wait,
Oh.
Danny's usually freezing if it starts to get below that.
Really weird. When I'm at his apartment, I'm freezing and he's fine. And when he's at my apartment, he's freezing and I'm fine. It's very weird.
Is the temperature different?
Ryan, why don't you just hop under the covers?
Yeah.
Do you want me to take my pants off, Josh?
I've already seen it all. Nothing new.
I have no way left to entice Josh. Friendship was over before it even started.
Back to the game.
Oh, Ramesh takes his pants off.
Before he leaves.
Are you sure you do
They
not?
were on?
Are you sure you don't need my assistance?
That's quite an
Pulls his pants down. I can provide much.
Much in the way of okay, Ramesh will saunter back to his party and confirm he is a strange man. And leave it at that.
Yeah, what else would you guys like to do? Syndra has committed to attending a tea and sandwich party soon.
We're gonna go party at the mansion.
Lucky me.
Parties at the Lane Mansion.
Yeah.
I like mansions better than I like cucumber sandwiches.
I will tell you that based off of, you guys have traveled that road before and know where it goes. It would take you probably exactly as much time to reach it and travel back.
Is that the DM encouraging us or discouraging us?
That's me telling you you'd be able to be at that mansion for like 20 minutes and then you'd have to head back.
But that's like enough time to see a dead dragon.
What happens if we run the entire way?
You could try.
We could try. We might not succeed in running.
I mean, you'd have to roll some checks to keep that
to
endurance
run a
up.
mile?
It's not a mile. It's
Like,
farther than a mile.
You said it was about a mile
You
out of
said
town, west. Yeah.
It's not a mile. It's
I am
farther than a
disappointed
mile.
in Rames's athleticism.
Yes,
You
I
could
am too.
definitely go check out the mansion if you'd like to, but you won't have a ton of time there.
Fuck it, let's not do it. Let's do something else. Let's kill time while Syndra has sandwiches.
The DM is telling you you will need more than the amount of time you will have at that mansion.
Loud and clear.
Is there a haunted mansion within town?
Do we need any supplies of any kind? Does anybody?
You have
Supplies?
money.
What kind of
Like,
supplies?
do we want to try to upgrade our fucking weapons or anything?
I have a crossbow, and I can't imagine getting anything too much better than that. But you're welcome to take a look. Don't you have a silver sword?
I have a silver short sword.
Dude, that's pretty sick. Silver. It's good against scary shit.
Werewolves.
That's true.
No, it's good against undead.
Hi.
Silver's good against undead. I feel like there's going to be some undead here. Just getting the vibe.
All right.
Interesting vibe.
Ramesh will start doing short sword spinning tricks.
Okay, and time begins to pass, and it is now time for the tea party.
Oh boy, lucky me.
So we're gonna have a small divergence here, where Syndra is gonna go off and do her own thing, and the party will.
Ramesh would like to challenge Zug to arm wrestling.
The party will arm wrestle in the meantime. Also, if you guys wanted to, you could like creep and like watch what's going on and like back her up, but
Do you want us to, Syndra?
don't need to.
Kinda. I feel like, wasn't there something we wanted to investigate in the house? We
Sure.
were going to try to sneak back while I was at the tea party.
There was some object.
There were a few
Yeah.
things that you noticed for maybe potential future investigation purposes.
Okay.
The first thing was a suspicious magical mirror
Yeah.
that was in one of her rooms. The second thing was a suspiciously locked room, like smack dab in the middle of the second floor,
Mhm.
that she did not allude to at all and just walked straight past. And that was all the things that you really noticed that were suspicious in the house. So
Yeah.
Rumis will turn to Syndra and say, bring us along. They will have to figure out something to do with us while you attend the tea ceremony.
Okay. You guys want to do that? Or do you want me to just,
Rumis will.
Go on
Rumis is
myself.
somewhat stealthy, so he'll try.
all right, you're a smooth talker. You can talk your way to the door. I don't know if Zug would be as lucky, but
That can be a useful diversion.
for sure. That's true. That's true.
Okay, so as you head towards the burgomaster's mansion for the tea party, you head back towards the Svalak Road to, so you're heading back towards the west, and the burgomaster's mansion is not far off from where you were. So you head in that direction, and walking down the Svalak Road, you run into a familiar face one more time, and it is Rictavio, and he is heading the opposite direction as you, and he hails you as you walk by, and he says, "Hello, friend." I forgot what Rictavio's voice sounds like. I forgot how I did his voice.
Rictavio?
Yeah.
And he just sounded like an asshole.
Yeah, he was like a pompous. He was like a Gaston.
All right, we can do a Gaston. Hello. And he says, "I presume I'll be seeing all of you at the Festival of the Blazing Sun later."
But it's a fair assumption, given that we are all invited.
And then Kane winks.
And Rictavio does not understand what your wink means, but winks back nonetheless.
Rumis will laugh out loud at this.
Is Rictavio like completely oblivious to the fact that the festival is horrifying?
No, he's very much not oblivious to the festival being horrifying. He thinks it is horrifying.
Okay, good.
Uh,
My implication there, in case it wasn't understood, is that the festival is we were invited to.
Okay, Rictavio picks up on that. Sure. Rictavio says, "Of course." He says, "Mandatory invitations." And he smiles and he says, "See you all there." And he walks past as he like kind of gestures. And soon you make it to the burgomaster's mansion. And you see servants scurrying about, putting together a big old twiggy sun. And you guys actually saw this last time that you were at the burgomaster's mansion, but this time it looks more complete. The bundles of twigs that were piled around the mansion's grand foyer have now sort of assembled into what looks to be a very large wicker sun.
Tight.
Is the wicker sun hollow? Like, could you fit people inside it, for example?
Could you fit Nicolas Cage inside of it?
Or 4 Nicolas Cages?
You could fit a Syndra inside.
Oh,
Oh.
cool. Well, like, okay, that's fine.
This is about to be some Midsommar shit. Mm.
When I go to this tea party, they're gonna dress me in a giant gown of flowers.
You're gonna have to drink period blood.
No.
The Wicker Sun is not hollow.
Oh,
That's
It is
good. Okay.
filled
with explosives.
Bees.
with wicker,
Oh,
with more twigs.
solid.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a festival of the blazing sun. It will blaze.
I don't understand.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. You made it to the house. Congrats.
Are they like greeting us or anything? Or
The servants are just scurrying about doing their business.
I'm just
Everyone is busy.
I'm just gonna start walking straight into the house. Like,
Just going,
and
I guess.
remembering the floor layout, I'm going to be making my way towards the locked door.
Just act like you belong.
Yeah, exactly. That's Ramis.
I'll do the same.
Ramis will turn to Zug as we're walking, as if we know where we're going, and say, Zug, I will need you to be a bit of a distraction.
So as you walk towards the house, the same maid who greeted you the first time that you arrived greets you again, and she says, "Are you here for the tea and sandwich party?" And she looks at Syndra specifically and asks this question.
Yes, I am. My friends, they wanted to see the house again, just briefly, but they won't stay for the whole thing.
Asked us to return for some official business. We will find our way to him.
She furrows her brow and she says, "I will have him meet you in the den."
I would like to roll persuasion and try to rephrase.
Okay.
No need. We know our way around. We got a tour from the Baroness last time. You need to take Syndra so she will not be late.
Roll.
Oh my god. Okay, it's a 16.
Yeah.
Wow. A 16. Okay.
That's still like not low.
Yeah, I the DC was 15.
Woo!
And she looks at you for a moment with hesitation, but then she smiles and she nods graciously. And she looks at Syndra and she says, "Please follow me, dear." And she leads you down the hall through the foyer and towards the dining area that is now staged and set with all sorts of delicate filigrees and fancy things for the tea and
For a lady.
sandwich party.
Can't wait.
She leads you into the dining area, and there are several ladies who are already there and who are seated. And there are these it's really like what you would imagine. There are these silver platters with these little doilies on them with these perfectly cut tiny cube sandwiches that have the perfect portion of things inside of them. There are dainty little scalloped teacups that have floral decorations on them on top of little perfect saucers that are also scalloped. And there's a big vat of ceramic, a big ceramic teapot on the table in several different places. There's 2 of them. And there are little teeny tiny sandwich plates seated perfectly in front of each of the chairs, which are decorated. These are big, beautiful velvet chairs, and they're decorated all pretty. There are lots of florals around as well, lots of freshly picked flowers. It would be fucking adorable if it wasn't a tiny bit haunting.
Cool.
That's perfect.
Love it. Okay. Do I see the burgomaster's wife anywhere in there? Or are there seating arrangements? Should I put
There are teeny tiny nameplates in front of each of the seating locations. The Baroness is not there yet. She has not yet arrived. But the maid assures you that she will be arriving shortly. You're a little early. And
So punctual, Syndra.
yeah. And the chandelier is lit with wax candles that are hanging above the table. Yeah. Oh, and also there's a cake. Yeah.
Nice.
That's just
how
for
is it decorated?
Dog's gonna be so
That's for me.
bummed.
It is a beautiful white cake decorated with yellow flowers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do I know where my seat is? Are the other ladies looking at me suspiciously? I'm gonna try to like not be as spooky as possible, just to try to blend in a little bit. Have a pleasant look on my face.
The
Is that your
women,
pleasant look?
the women are not what you would expect. You
Okay.
might expect that the women seated around the table are like proper, prim, pristine little ladies, maybe high ladies of the town.
Yeah.
These are peasants.
Oh, Syndra. You slaughtered your dog.
Okay.
You're gonna have to kill
Could I do maybe perception and see like how do they seem to feel in this situation? Like, are they comfortable? Are they excited? Are they like, wow, we're so spoiled. We're at this fancy tea party, or are they all terrified?
They look extremely nervous.
Great. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yes, there's a few women in here. They look like peasants. Their fingers are hard and worn in the fashion of they look like they are working women.
Okay.
And when I say that, I don't mean prostitutes. I mean they do manual labor.
Okay.
Physical labor. And yeah, they are sitting here and they look pretty nervous, but at the same time they also look happy to have like food that looks tasty.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you enter in and you look around the table, there's 10 seats at the table. There's 4 on each side and 2 at the long one at the edges. Your seating is right next to the edge of the table where the Baroness is designated to be seated.
Lucky me. Okay. Before I sit down, is anyone else at the table?
Let's say there are 3 women.
Okay.
2 or 3. 3 women who are sitting scattered around the table. None of them are talking to each other.
Okay.
It's dead quiet in here.
These are peasant women as well.
Peasant women. These are the peasant women.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is there any way that I could stealthily investigate the food and drink around me to see if it is poisoned or laced with anything?
Sure. You can try. I don't think you have any like spells that would tell you if food is poisoned outright, but you can look for things that are obvious.
Let's do that.
Yeah, go ahead and like roll a investigation.
Okay.
I'm scared away.
19.
Upon investigation of the food and drink, there is nothing that you notice obviously or outright that seems worrisome. In fact, the food smells and looks utterly delicious.
Cool. That sounds-
And the wine, upon investigation, is not the purple grape mash that you have been used to drinking.
Mhm.
It is in fact Red Dragon Crush, which is a slightly higher grade.
Oh, would I know if it was from the Wizard of Wine's place?
It is most certainly from the Wizard of Wine.
Okay.
It's a rare vintage. He's
Mm.
dead.
Mhm.
And as you are doing your investigation and preparing to take your seat, 4 more ladies stream into the room, followed by the Baroness, who turns to take her seat, sits down at the table, and beckons you to come sit next to her. And that is next time on Curse of Strahd.
Ah,
Okay.
Am I gonna always
Another cliff jumper.
cliff jumper. That's suicide.
Is this? Do we not like this?
What?
it's
I
fine.
like the cliffhangers. It's
You
fun.
do. You like the cliffhanger.
She's
Okay.
been programmed to enjoy them from years of television.
Yeah.
I'm seeing. Yeah, I sense
So
that.
true. Yes, you're not wrong.